welcome back to the world famous upset special. It's the college football show, series, whatever you call it, that's actually taking the world by storm. It's kind of crazy what's been going on because our picks are just so good, and we're basically just predicting what's going to happen on college football Saturday or a weekday. You never know what's going to happen. I don't know, guys. Last week was a little better than week one. We really need to pick it up. That's why we're bringing in the reinforcements. Matt's here to make his debut. Josh and Parker are back, and I'm here again to let you all down. So, what's up, y'all?
Nothing much. I was about to say we were. I mean, to be fair, we were close on a lot of the misses last week with.
Yes.
Holy Cross and Cal. Even the wheel for a period of time was very close with Kent State and was the second pick the wheel had.
Sam Houston State was a 14-point underdog to Air Force, lost 13-3. The wheel landed on that twice. That came twice, so it clearly had a hunch, and it wasn't even that bad. Kent State over Arkansas, it was only like 28-6. One of the most bizarre results that we're going to see all season. Like you said, Dave's 0-2 of Holy Cross over Boston College was a 3-point loss that they easily could have won. Cal over Auburn was a 3-point loss as well, I believe, that they threw that game away. Terrible miscues from Cal. Parker, you had Cincy over Pitt. Nice, easy. I guess it wasn't so easy in the end, but it was looking easy for a bit. So that was a nice win. Jacksonville State over Coastal. You can't go against the shots, man. You gotta learn.
I know. I had some doubts about Tim Beck. That's what led me into that.
Then Washington State over Wisconsin. I felt that was pretty easy for me. And then SMU over Oklahoma. It was a 3-point game. It was a 3-point game. They didn't even cover the 16.
Well, luckily, we have an electric week three slate to get you back on track.
Yeah, this is one of the most underwhelming college football slates I think that there has ever been. That includes the FCS. That slate is equally as bad, which is so unfortunate because it would have been a great slate for the FCS to get some eyes on them. But it says it all. College game days at Colorado State, Colorado. This slate is. It reeks. If we double up picks, y'all, I'm sorry, but there's not much out there to take unless you're taking like an alt line on Iowa's team total over like 35.5 or something sick. I don't know what we're gonna have today, but I'm excited to see what we got. And yeah, just make sure to like and subscribe because that'll help us go a long way. And obviously comment your favorite upsets. I want to start with Josh today for your first pick. Because you're wearing the St. Peter shirt, so you're. I mean, the art.
I am. I just like
you
to
have
say
to go. You have to go 2-0.
I mean, we're not gonna talk about my first two picks from week one. I will say though, on Twitter, I did say Fordham over Buffalo, and I got that right. So shout out, I got that. And then I also picked Tulane, and then Tulane. That was really sad. First game. This is a really bad idea. People don't. If you're like betting or anything, don't actually go with this. But I'm just going it because. I'm picking from the heart. I'm taking Virginia at Maryland.
Oh my gosh.
Big fan. We're
like
fans
we
of Tony.
said, this week's going to be disgusting.
This is a Friday game, people. A Friday game. So be aware of that. These two schools, Maryland looked a little shaky against Charlotte. Virginia, they lost to James Madison, but hey, they look pretty good there. Anthony Colandrea, that freshman, that dude's fun. Looks like Tony Muskett, though, is going to get the start. But hey, you got two good quarterbacks there. Like, go for it. It's kind of one of those things where, like, Virginia, there was the tragedy, first home game, really riding high on the emotions. This could be an emotional letdown game for Virginia, but this could also just be one of those games where, okay, get the emotional high out of the way. Now it's just about ball. I mean, it never will truly be about ball, but like they can just focus on it more, especially after last week. I mean, so just want to say real quick, how cool was that to see Mike Hollins, who was injured in the Virginia shooting, scoring 2 touchdowns there for Virginia for the Hoos. That was pretty awesome. I mean, James Madison is a monster, people, so they came back and beat them. But yeah, I got Virginia. Places I saw them like 14 plus 14 and a half. So probably shouldn't be taking the Cavaliers again. But hey, I like them again. Like I want Calandria to play just because that dude was awesome. But again, like I said, do love Tony Muskett here. So I got Virginia.
I am I'm all on board for Calandria. I think it's a terrible decision to go back to Musket. We've seen Calandria play twice and outplay Musket. I mean, Musket's only played one game and everything, but we've seen Calandria on the field twice. He provides so much more upside to an anemic UVA offense. 59% of the targets are going to Malachi Fields and Malik Washington. They really only have two players. Like they have two receivers. Hollins is solid. I don't think Muska is good. If Calandria was playing quarterback, I would be a lot more intrigued, I suppose. But I still think Virginia stinks. I have them in the stinkers draft. So despite the spirit of the show and wearing the St. Peter's stuff, I have to root against you here because I need my stinkers pick to look good.
That's all right,
I
man.
like
Again, like I said, man, this is just a heart pick. Like my brain says, bro, what are you doing? This is a terrible idea. But I don't know. I'll take him. I'll take him. We'll see. It's
I
not like
just like
Virginia's been on the wrong end of upsets before in any sport.
I like it purely from the standpoint of Maryland and especially Talia Tagovailoa. They've been one of the streakiest teams in the country for the past couple of years, and I refuse to ever really bet on them or believe in them, especially after last week. I think if Virginia can come in there and score some points and at least make it a shootout for a bit and see what happens. I don't buy a lot of people going, saw a lot of people Maryland 7, 8 wins preseason from some people, and I was not on that train. So I can see it.
Just so soft.
Oh yeah, for sure. Per usual.
Who wants to go next?
I can go next, I suppose. I'll keep it simple to start things off. And we touched on a little bit yesterday in the preview. But I'm going to go with the Florida Gators over Tennessee in the Swamp on Saturday nights, purely because Tennessee has not won there since 2003. They've only beaten Florida twice since that year, I believe, or I believe it was the year after they beat them. But yeah, twice, 2016 last year as well. And at the end of the day, Florida as a program, no matter how much worse they are than Tennessee, has a mental edge over the Vols to the point where Tennessee has to be either just abhorrently better than Florida from every single perspective, or they got to get really lucky. Going into the Swamp on Saturday night, hostile environment, one of the toughest places to play in the country. Tennessee was really rocky last week. I'm still not a believer in Joe Milton. I think he's been just accuracy-wise very inconsistent so far this season. Tennessee's defense is good, not great. We all know that Florida is going to be struggling throughout this season. I think this might be the one win that can keep Billy Napier afloat for another season and keep him, in Gainesville for another year. It's going to be a close one. I can see it be a little bit more low scoring, very physical, intense game, but I like Florida to come out on top. They're getting about 7 points right now. I'll go with the Gators.
I have beef to pick.
Mm-hmm.
On the podcast that we did with Florida alum Trevor Sikkema, Trevor picked Tennessee. You picked Tennessee. I picked Florida. Why are you taking Florida now?
Well, because it's the spirit of the upset special, and my internal, I grew up a Tennessee fan, and so my internal just beliefs of UT can never beat them just hit me really hard after last night's episode. So
you need to
have
switch your pick in the pick.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, I probably should.
You cannot pull an Andrew Wilson. And Brewster got away with that too much because we were too nice to him. We have to put our foot down. No playing both sides so that you could always come out on top meme.
That's fair. That's perfectly fair. Yeah, I just growing up and watching Florida beat Tennessee in so many different ways, I can't be convinced that they're going to walk in there and win. So yes, I will change my pick.
I agree, man. Like I said on the podcast, when it's an underwhelming slate, the murky waters start going, and then you hear the Jaws music, and then it just keeps getting louder and louder, and then intensifies. And then when you least expect it, it just goes nuclear, and you realize Florida's got a touchdown lead in the late fourth quarter against Tennessee. Why have I not been watching this whole game?
Joe.
I agree. I think Florida wins this game. I think they're desperate. Napier's essentially coaching for his job. It's been that much of a disaster. The team stinks. Graham Mertz is not a good quarterback. There's really no redeeming qualities about Florida as a program right now. I again, they don't even have a full-time special teams coach. This is just college football is gonna college football. Like you said, the mental edge that Florida has. Tennessee is extremely overrated right now as well. I'm not in on Joe Milton. The receivers have been underwhelming. There's been nothing impressive that Tennessee has done thus far. I'm all in on Florida here, even though they're awful.
Yeah, I think it's a pick your poison game between two teams that are going to be very underwhelming throughout this year. So I see Joe Milton probably throwing a couple interceptions this Saturday, and that probably ends up being the difference in my eyes.
AP number 11, by the way. Sick. Mr. Matthew.
Joe Milton throw football far though.
He does do that.
That's a redeeming quality, and I'm sure Florida fans will be very excited to hear they're in for another year of Billy Napier. I also am in the SEC for my first one, and I'll take Mississippi State over LSU.
Nice.
Will Rogers, we people won't remember this last year, but early last year we were kind of like giving sneaky talks about Will Rogers for a Heisman, maybe. So that's something that happened, and he's still there, and he's still throwing the football. Okay, he has 5 touchdowns this year. I really like Jaquavius Marks at running back. I think he runs the football really well. And like LSU they're still the same team. Yeah, they beat Gramercy by 62 last week. Great, good for them. But when they face better competition, they're still going to be so iffy because that's just kind of who Jaden Daniels is at quarterback. His play is so erratic that you never really know what he's going to get from play to play. So I think that Mississippi State's defense is good enough that they'll be able to exploit that. I'd feel a lot better about this pick if they didn't just go to OT with Arizona last week. But other than that, I think Mississippi State's a really good team. They can run the ball really well and control the clock, and I think that's something they do. And they're at home, so another bonus.
And I don't even mark them down too much for that Arizona. I think Arizona's a pretty solid team, and I think they handled them well. Picking Delora off 3 times was really what made the difference. But yeah, I think Mississippi State's a pretty just well-rounded team overall. The only thing that makes me shy away from is just how red hot Jaden Daniels is right now. It seems like he is just on a mission after that Florida State game. But I agree. I think it's going to be very close. It's going to be a toss-up. It'll be pretty physical. So I would not be surprised by any means to see Stark Vegas be home to another pretty big upset.
This just has disgusting upset vibes all over it, especially with Mississippi State going away from the Mike Leach pure air raid and with the defensive coach now. Yeah, I like this just because, again, Jaden Daniels, amazing. I have him like pretty high up in my preseason like Heisman odds or whatever article. But yeah, if Jaden Daniels pulls up bad Jaden Daniels, Mississippi State, they're gonna have a fun time there in Starkville.
So Parker picked one of my 2, and then Matt picked my other one. So I was going to be like, yeah, it's okay. I'll let Parker just have Florida. I'll think of another one. And then once now I kind of have to pick one of them.
You said there's no way we were going to pick them. Those were
you took 2 Power 5 games.
I didn't say that there's no way. I never said that there's no way that you guys are going to pick. I said if like it happens, it happens. I'm sure. Like I figure at least one of them would get picked. I'm not surprised. I mean, both of them should have got picked, especially in the week slate. I'm not surprised at all. Kind of stinks to happen in the first round, the first go around, I suppose. But like, we're doubling up on the graphic. I gotta do what you gotta do. I'm on Mississippi State over LSU is probably my most confident one going into the week. So I mean, like everything that you said, I pretty much echo that. Will Rogers will continue to consistently produce at a high level week after week while nobody dares mutter his name for whatever reason. He's just consistently underrated. like, cool, sick. He'll just go out and do his thing and fly under the radar yet again. Arnett also brings a very good physical mentality to a defense that really needs that. And I love watching their defense play. They're ferocious. They got after I mean, Arizona's offense is like they could go out and get so many explosive plays seemingly whenever they want. And Mississippi State really did a good job against them. I'm not on this Jane Daniels train. I'm not on this LSU train. You guys know how I feel. I predicted them to be the most disappointing team in the country, which heck, that could be Alabama. Hey, the SEC West might just reek. I'm all here for Mississippi State to
The
be out. Like,
SEC reeks.
Yeah, I mean, like Pac-12 is the best conference. Let's be honest, and all you fools pick
Sun
against them
Belt.
in week 1 of the upset special. I Mississippi State ranked 25th and LSU 17th, and Mississippi State's gonna LSU's gonna be unranked after this week, possibly. That's pretty interesting to think about. I'm all in on Mississippi State here. I'm sorry for doubling up the graphic, but gotta do what you gotta do.
I mean, you could be like me and have 8 picks going in every single time, just throwing slop at the wall and seeing what
I
sticks.
should have gone to the CFL this week. You're right. You're right. Let me
CFL.
look at the CFL schedule.
Goodness.
I, for one, like that pick, Liam.
Thank you, Matt. I liked your pick as well.
I guess I'll
will
go.
not be picking the Elks Rough Riders game.
Why
after
not?
Second thought, because I don't want to pick between Trey Ford and Jarrett Stearns.
That's true. Us CFL sickos over here, as in you. Like, I kind of pay attention, and then the playoffs roll around, and then I kind of pay attention.
I love getting to the playoffs every year. Yeah,
I'm looking at the rest. Like I mentioned, I have 8 picks, and I'm looking at the rest of my 7, and I have like 5 that I'm kind of confident in.
oh, do you have 8 this week?
1, like I said, man, just spray and pray, man. Just pick one.
Ah.
I'm like 5 I'm confident in, 2 maybe, and there's one that's just like, just so wouldn't it be hilarious and it makes no sense at all. I'm gonna go with that one because why not? I'm gonna take Villanova over UCF.
Ooh.
Because no John Rice
my
Plumlee
gosh.
just no John Rice Plumlee for UCF. Got knocked out with a leg injury, even though like he played like the entire game against Boise State. So it's like kind of impressive that he finished that off, and he was like still moving around. So
Well, he got
Good on
hurt
him.
real late too.
exactly, but like he was still in. So good on them. Tough too, because like right after this game, they're heading into a conference play. So and they said he might be out for a few weeks, and even when he comes back, he's probably still gonna be dinged up. It's a tough break for them. Their backup is UCF's backup is Timmy McLean, and for those unfamiliar with him, he's from USF. He's like a lesser John Rice Plumlee because he's just as quick, not as fast in the open field, and I think he's not as accurate. So you never know. It could just be like a really awful game from the backup, and then they have to go to the third stringer, and then Villanova, who is 2-0 against, I don't think even like really good FCS opponents, but who cares? They're 2-0. Shout out to the Wildcats. You might look up at like the third quarter. It's like, why is this game close? And then might be a crazy upset. So just because, I'm gonna just take the one that I'm least informed in, and I really don't think it's gonna happen, but it would be so funny. And I love Villanova's color scheme. I'm gonna go with the Villanova Wildcats taking out the Golden Knights.
Yeah, I guess it's only fitting that wearing the St. Peter shirt, you went full on college basketball program.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
This shout out home field.
The Fighting Archie Diaconos.
Oh
Or
my gosh.
or you could give it the Fighting Jalen Brunsons, or et cetera, et cetera. What was I was
The
just
fun-
looking it up though. Villanova 2018, they beat Temple, so they have experience with
Okay, there we
FBS
go.
upsets as well. So they've done it before. I mean, I
They
wouldn't
had a
be
really good running back a few years ago. I forget his name.
One of the funny things is like one of my first ever college football games I remember is a Villanova versus Eastern Washington playoff game. And I think that's the year Eastern Washington won the national title at the FCS level. And I remember for some reason, even though I'm in Washington, cheering for Villanova, and I was really sad. But hey, I've come around, Villanova. I've come around.
Why was that the first college football game you watched?
It's one of the first, it's one of the first ones I remember watching. It's like that, a Boise State Nevada game, and then like the Tim Tebow.
Oh, because that's
Ole
better.
Miss game. It's random, man.
Probably-
It's just like I started watching college football like after like 2008, but like those are the ones I remember. So I missed the 2007 year, which will always haunt me for the rest of my life.
I need you
It's
guys
hard,
to
though.
like really talk about your picks for a bit because I'm in the deep end right now trying to find something.
But you talk,
It was
dude. I'm telling you, man. I got a bunch of other picks. Do you want me to send you two?
No. I
Sure.
have a legit FBS one that like I could say, but it's just boring. So
It was probably
this slate
it was
reeks.
probably,
I have to go all out.
it's probably the red field that stuck out to you. That's why you remembered, I bet. If they had it back then, I don't know.
I don't even think they did.
They might have not. I guess I'll go with my second one to give Liam some more time, and I'll spice thing. Well, not spice things up more than that by any means, but I mean more than my first pick. I'll take the natives of Statesboro, Georgia Southern Eagles, going on the road to take on Wisconsin, getting
I love
16
this pick.
points. Listen, they just took down a very good UAB team, 49-35. Davis Brin at quarterback popped off. He's already thrown for 562 and 4 touchdowns this season. Big fan of his game. Georgia Southern has experience pulling off plenty of upsets over teams in the past couple of years. Clay Helton's running a fun offense for the second straight season down there. Wisconsin last week was very iffy, had a stronger second half, but still nothing great. Mordecai played better, but still not great. The running game really disappeared for the most part. It's a tall order for them to walk into Madison and do that, especially with the Badgers coming off a loss. But Georgia Southern can put some points on the board, and I'll bet on any small school that can do that on the road against a team that has an offense with plenty of question marks. So I'll take Georgia Southern, big points, but I'll ride with the Eagles.
I'm a
Wisconsin-
big fan of this pick.
Yeah, Wisconsin's been really unimpressive this year. Because even with the
Stunner.
Washington State loss, Buffalo had them in the second half. But Buffalo was leading in the second half of that game, and we're in control of it. And then they just kind of lost the plot a little bit. But
They just totally macked and just stopped playing ball for some reason.
It
I
is
mean, you
it is a fall. It's a fall from grace for me though, Liam. Remember when preseason I was big on the Dairy Raid? I thought Mordecai
Yep.
was really going to work out, and now I'm picking Georgia Southern to beat them.
It's a spoiled dairy raid. I've been trying to warn all of you.
You did. You certainly did. I just didn't listen.
Tanner Mordecai, it's all about Preston Stone out here.
I knew you were going to say that too. Oh man, Tony up.
Okay, I do have my pick as well. I am excited, but Matt, please.
I'll go with the team that's been very disappointing, specifically for Mia and Liam this year. And I said in my preview on our magazine that South Alabama was going to beat a Power 5 team this year. So I have them beating Oklahoma State, who also has been pretty unimpressive with like a 14-point win over Central Arkansas week 1 and like squeaking past Arizona State last week. It's just been an unimpressive team. They're clearly missing Spencer Sanders. For South Alabama, Carter Bradley is capable. In 2022 he played significantly better than he's played the first 2 weeks this year. He's just been really rough, but the defense has been really, really bad. Like I couldn't believe they allowed up 37 to Tulane the first week while hardly making Michael Pratt sweat. He completed like 13 to 15 passes. So if the defense can play like it did last year, it does have most of the same pieces. They returned like 11 of 13 players that played key snaps for them. And Carter Bradley reverts to the 2022 form. I think this is a team that's more than capable of sealing one in Oklahoma State.
I have never heard anyone utter the words clearly missing Spencer Sanders in a non-ironic way. That was wild to me. But you're right, which is very telling for Oklahoma State. So I like this pick, a sneaky pick. I like this one.
Yeah, because as far as I know, they're still. I mean, they didn't come out with any answers at that quarterback competition from the Arizona State game, unless I've missed something this week. I think they're probably still going to run with I forget the two of them.
Bowman.
Gundy.
Or
Bowman with all
three.
Bowman's the
Bowman,
leader, I feel
Rangel, and Gundy. Like I just couldn't
Yeah.
imagine having 3 playable quarterbacks and they're all at that awful caliber. Like it's
You
unbelievable.
mean 3 unplayable quarterbacks?
Yes, exactly. The fact that you're a Big 12 program and It's Oklahoma State. And you have 3 quarterbacks that you trot out there that all just aren't good. They aren't good.
I see. I remember Bowman, early Texas Tech days. I thought he was going to be the next great Big 12 gunslinger. I was really thinking he was going to be next up, and that did not. I mean, obviously, injuries and such played a major factor, but still, just disappointing to see. But who knows? Maybe he'll take over the competition this weekend.
Combine all 3 Oklahoma State's quarterbacks. Would you take that combination or Tanner Mordecai?
Wow.
I would take Tanner Mordecai because I prefer only having one quarterback and having stability. Because if you have multiple quarterbacks, you really have none.
No, I'm saying like you like machine mash them.
I know,
Weird
balance.
wacky science.
Like
still
David
Mordecai.
David
Okay.
Montgomery
Yeah.
Frankenstein style.
Exactly.
Mordecai is not as bad as it sounds like I make him out to be, but like I guess, which is real. I don't even know. I just think he's the. I don't know. You've really just torturing my brain right now.
That is
I think I'm
incredible
gonna
hypothetical.
go with Mordecai. Yeah, I'll go with Mordecai.
Mordecai missed being a perfect Wisconsin quarterback by a year. Like he would have been perfect in the old Wisconsin system. That's all. He just came in during the
Whoa.
Dairy Raid era, and it was over for him.
I don't know how to put this, folks. The Western Mustangs, number 2 in the country. Country being Canada, of course. They're number 2.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they won 83-0 in a preseason game at York. 83, that's impressive. Going to the regular season, you beat McMaster 34-32, and you went at Carleton 31-21. Carleton, I believe in Ottawa, most known for just stomping D1 college basketball programs and scrimmage games before the season. A very good track record of winning those games. But none of that means anything, because what it does mean, it's all about Queens, man. Give it up for Queens, the Gales. Come on, hype it up.
and who are
Give it
they?
up for Queens.
Who are they beating? What is the
I don't like the
Queens,
monarchy. I'm not going to take
Queens,
this.
number 7
What's the
in
spread?
the U Sports top 10. I don't think there'll ever be a spread on this game. But
Is sports gambling legal in Canada?
Yes, it is. But Western,
It
one
is,
of the
yeah.
top programs year in and year out, I believe, in this whole Canadian college football thing. I don't know anything about the Queens Gales. I really don't. I'm not like gonna cap on this app or anything, but where are we located, Queens? Kingston, Ontario. Perfect. So I'm all in on Queens here to get this win over mighty Western Mustangs. Queens went out there. They beat McGill where my father went. They beat McGill in a preseason game 33-10. They then lost to Laurier, the Golden Hawks, 11-10, a funky score there. Then they beat the Toronto Varsity Blues in Toronto 42-9. Coming out here getting a big home game against Western at Richardson Stadium. Let's see if these guys could play good football. Looking at you, quarterback Alex Vreekin, possibly throwing the ball to Nathan Falcone. Jared Chisari, one of the best running backs in all of Canada, as all of you know. If things get funky, you could look out for Russell Weir to also throw the ball a little bit and get his name out there. Quentin George, another receiver to look out for Queens. I know nothing about any players on Western. I won't do any research there. We'll shout out Theo Benedict, who plays for the University of British Columbia, though. Solid NFL draft prospect. Other than that, number 8 team in the country, by the way. But other than that, we're on Queens here. Number 7 to beat number 2 Western.
Knowing nothing about either of these teams or
You love the
Canada,
pick.
I've looked up the Queens Gales, and the third picture is their mascot, which is a Dalmatian wearing a fireman's uniform. So I'm all in on the pick.
Yeah,
So I'm
so
all in on the pick.
Their logo's kind of sick too. Oh my, this guy's sick. He has a little visor.
We're all heading to Google to look at this.
I'm
Dude,
he's
all
like
It's
in.
untapped market.
There's a picture of him catching a football from 3 feet away.
I'm all in on
That's
the
wholesome.
pick.
That's
Yeah,
good because if you
No way does Western
wow.
have a mascot like that.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
they're the Mustang. Western has really good uniforms, though. I know. They have a really good like purple and silver color scheme.
Who,
No,
like, sponsors-
that mascot sucks.
I don't know about their
No,
mascot.
look at the horse. That's the worst looking horse I've ever seen in my life.
Did you just look up Western mascot?
Western Mustangs mascot.
They have
Western
good hockey
Mustangs
jerseys. Oh, this mascot's ugly. There's a
This
picture.
mascot
There's a
stinks.
There's
Oh,
a picture
gosh.
of the Western Mustang with a dinosaur. That's the Calgary Dinos mascot.
Ugh.
Oh, I see that. Wow. Yes.
Yeah, Calgary Dinos
Right out
mascot's
of
kind of
Jurassic
sick.
Park.
I looked into that one, but they're playing the 0-2 team, and they're also 0-2.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Western mascot looks like a furry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of purple. It's very Barney. This is very Barney to me.
Gosh, I feel good about the Queen's pick now.
Yeah.
You think
definitely
it's a lot of
could.
purple? I think it's too much white.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
mean, it
was
is definitely more white
tripping.
than purple.
I was tripping calling stuff preseason games. That wasn't preseason. That was just games in August.
Oh, that was a real.
What-
Oh my.
What
Gosh.
a blunder there. So Western put up 83 in a regular season game. York might be awful. Could look to fade them later in the season. Western averaging 49.3 points per game. But you gotta talk about my Queens Gales, who only give up 10 a game. Gonna be a fascinating matchup here between the high-powered Mustangs, high-tempo Pony Express offense against the Gales, who never relinquish. We don't give up points.
We
I
just spent
would-
the
I would-
longest time on this
Wait,
game.
but we're only 1-1. So did we have a preseason game? Canada's
It's now the
confusing me, man.
Dude, yeah, I would love. I'm very intrigued to go to a Canadian like collegiate football game and see what that is like, what the atmosphere is, what the players are like. That's a bucket list item for sure.
They do it like you gotta give credit where credit is due. They have some outstanding logos.
Mhm.
Like look
I'm
up
excited.
the Alberta logo, like a knockoff Sailor Bear. Carlton's always got a good logo. I believe they're just the Ravens. Just good logos out here. So yeah. Josh, you had like 19 more picks. You want
Yeah,
to give some honorable mentions?
Yeah, we just want to do some.
I'm gonna run through these real
mentions,
quick. All right, so Army plus 8.5 at UTSA. UTSA, I don't know, man. Like we're all high on them. We all love the Road Runners, but they've just looked shaky on offense. I mean, so is Army. We're gonna ignore that fact for the point of this just outside looking in pick. Yeah, I don't know. Army figuring out with its new like option, not optioning offense. But hey, like they've hit some explosive plays in the passing game. So, that might be fun. And this one was like one of my like smart picks that I didn't go with. Ohio +3 versus Iowa State. Curtis Rourke is back. He doesn't look 100%, but he looks a little bit better, even like from the first game against San Diego State. And I don't care. Like this entire season, I'm just gonna be fading Iowa State. Like I just don't care. I don't.
Their players are doing it too.
And dang right. BYU +8 to Arkansas. No Raheem Rocket Sanders for Arkansas. This might be another one. It's like missing a key player.
That was the
Affects the
other one
team.
I considered.
Yeah. I think BYU is like back to just fully being like just a bully ball team on both sides, and they're just gonna be annoying. And this might be like a really low scoring game heading to the fourth, and that's a game where just one possession might decide it. Idaho at Cal. Idaho just smacked Nevada. I know it's Nevada, but like that's still a good win. Giovanni McCoy is miles ahead of whatever Auburn's passing game is, so he might do a lot better. Hayden Hatton's one of the best receivers in the country, period. Anthony Woods is a great running back. Jason Nix got something cooking up there, but the one thing that has me a little questionable is that Idaho already has their one upset win. Maybe, I don't know, they go into this one, and Cal might be looking.
They wasn't even an upset because that was a free pick last week that I straight up said none of us could pick Idaho. They're going to be like a 3-point favorite, opened as a 3-point favorite, closed as a 6-point favorite. That was just a better team smacking a really bad FBS team that I'm proud to have in the stinkers draft.
Yeah, so I don't know. Jaden Knott's banged up a little bit for Cal, but even if he should be playing, and then Isaiah Fonse is also there, so Cal should be fine. But I'm gonna go with Idaho as like an outside looking in pick. Two more real quick is Southern Miss plus 13 versus Tulane. Michael Pratt, they're being very unclear. Tulane is about whether he's going to play or not. Even if he does, I don't think he's going to be fully healthy, and that might affect them. And Tulane did lose to Southern Miss last year in Tulane. This game is in Southern Miss, so keep an eye on that one. Frank Gore Jr. just being the best all-purpose player in the Sun Belt and in the country potentially. And then finally, the Troy Taylor revenge game. Sac State traveling to Stanford, because Stanford, Ashton Daniels suffered an arm injury, but Justin Lamson came in and looked decent against USC. But I mean, whatever that means. But hey, like Sac State's probably had this game circled for a long time on their schedule, so that's just one more to keep an eye on.
I looked more into the Canadian college football game I picked. I need to just let you guys know this is very reminiscent of when I picked the Japanese college football game at the end of last season and picked on the Green Dolphins. Was it to beat Kwanzaa Gakuen? I think it was to beat Kwanzaa Gakuen. And I was picking against like the Alabama of Japanese college football. I've done the same thing. Western's head coach Greg Marshall, in his 15th year at the program, record of 102-16.
Oh, God.
I have picked against a behemoth here. Western has won 8 Vanier Cups, second only to the Laval Rouge. The team Western has made the most Vanier Cup national championship appearances of all time. Oh man. Hey though, give it up for Queens though. We've won 23 Yates Cups and 4 Vanier Cup championships. The most recently won the Vanier Cup in 2009, where we beat the Calgary Dinos.
These are too many
There you
cups,
go.
man. It's like soccer, just too many random cups. It's like which cup is actually matters now.
I'm gonna tell you this.
It's a bad pick.
I'm gonna tell you this. 8,500 the stadium capacity at Richardson Memorial Stadium. I need this overfilled above the capacity. We need 10K up in there,
I'm
making
calling the
it
fire
a
department
rowdy
on.
environment.
I'm calling the fire department on you.
We are the fire department. You saw our sick Dalmatian. You point them out. They can't. What are they gonna do?
When's the
Damn,
Laval
bro.
Western matchup? That's what we need to circle on the calendars.
So who's
Laval's
number one?
right?
Number
Laval's
one.
number
Oh,
one.
Laval is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Saskatchewan's up there, Montreal.
So that's that's the what the. I mean, you can't even say that's the Georgia to the Alabama because that doesn't even work nowadays.
Looks like they don't play each other in the regular season.
They'll play each other in the cup with the head of.
No, they won't.
No, Queens is
What?
going. Queens is going to win it. Queens is winning.
I don't care if Queens gets there. I only care if Queens wins this week. I want University of British Columbia to get to the Vanier Cup. Theo Benedict, offensive lineman. Told you, NFL draft prospect. Good guy, all around good dude.
Fair enough. Should I go with an honorable mention or
Yeah,
should I go with the CFL game?
Is it international?
I feel like I should have prepared an international one. Next week I will. The other one I wanted to throw out there, less likely than the first two, but Illinois over Penn State. Wouldn't it just be so James Franklin to lose this game after having all this hype and all that's building up to the Michigan Ohio State matchups? Illinois pulled off starters before. See Wisconsin 2019. They're battle tested. They played 2 really high quality teams to start this season. They're tough. I've liked what I've seen from Luke Altmaier so far this year. Penn State's first road game of the season too. I can see them getting tripped up. It's a James Franklin coach teams have always been very susceptible to upsets. Illinois pulled a couple of them off. They're desperate for a big win to start the season. I don't sleep on the Illini in good old Champaign this weekend.
I'm gonna be devastated if that happens, because if that happens, I have to go into like witness protection program.
Yep.
Number 1 team, ranked team in the country, Heisman winner, national championship winner. I already know the Heisman's a lost cause, though. That's a lost cause.
you are too early to call that, I think.
No, it's over. I threw in the towel like week 3 last year for Caleb Williams. I'm doing the same now. It's over.
That guy's
What
good.
if Colorado beats
Yeah.
them? What if
Seems like
Colorado
a
beats them?
mistake that we didn't hammer Caleb early on last season. You got
my,
anything, Matt?
my honorable mention is Missouri beating Kansas State. I have 2 ranked teams losing.
Blech. Gross.
Yeah, I hate that pick. I
As a-
think
as a
Kansas State's
person
going to
who-
dominate them.
As a person who
What?
covers the team, there's not a lot of hope this weekend, but we'll see. And maybe they've kept the playbook vanilla for the first 2 weeks, and they're gonna Kirby Moore and them are gonna unleash something special on Saturday morning.
They just didn't want to bring out the whole playbook. They've been using like the first 3 pages of the playbook. It was Middle Tennessee and South. It was Middle Tennessee and South Dakota. Now we can get to the back pages. Wait till you get
especially. I was just
Wait
gonna say,
till you-
especially when they punted 4th and 1 up by 6 in the 4th quarter. That was on the opposing 40, by the way, mind you, or 45.
Wait until you get to the 11th chapter, which is the Brady Cook read option page.
See, that's what Brady Cook running the ball, easiest offense, designed runs, read options, needs to keep it more, but they also
QB
can't
power,
afford him to get injured. Yeah, if the offensive line could open up any hole for him, that would be lovely. Hey, elite defense though, elite defense. They'll probably only lose like 20-13.
I bring disturbing news. Western has won the last 11 matchups over Queens.
Oh, so
including last year in the playoffs, 44-16, 35-11 as well last year. 2021 was a 29-0 win. This is not looking good for Queens. I've made a mistake. I should have just picked Navy.
Some people say 12 is a lucky number. I don't think you made a mistake at all.
The last time we won, 2012. Oh,
There you
18-11. Being 37-0 the year before too. Again, I'm gonna need Queens fans to sell out. London, the drive to Kingston's like 4 hours, so don't let any of those goobers get tickets. We can't have Western have their fan presence out there. Huge party school. We can't have that vibe out here.
Is it possible to stream those games in the States or no? Have you ever watched one?
I'm sure the sickos Cabane knows. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like they've tweeted about these games before.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I don't know. Want to recap these picks and then get up on out here and watch all them crumble before our eyes?
Sounds good to me.
Maybe except the crumbling part.
Well, except for
Probably
Queens.
this time.
Queens will be the one.
Yeah,
win.
that'll be the one win. How would that be?
That'd be awesome. I'd love it.
Josh, you're out here with UVA over Maryland, Villanova over UCF, really just channeling the college basketball world. Matt went with Mississippi State over LSU, South Alabama over Oklahoma State. Parker went for Florida over Tennessee, Georgia Southern over Wisconsin, and I have Mississippi State over LSU as well. Matt, just nice pick, man. Fist bump. Yeah, nice. Queens over Western, the game of the century.
What a slate of games. Unreal.
I should have looked into this before we began recording and truly found something, but I'm content with the absolute buffoonery of this pick. If there is another slate where it's super underwhelming, I'm gonna do better to go out there and get an even grosser pick. If they play college football in Belgium, I will be there. Nonetheless, again, please make sure to like and subscribe. Just means a lot to us and helps us out, supports us, and comment below some upsets that you see happening this week. Whether it's something we pick, make fun of it too if you would like. That's always good. Or just let us know one of your own picks or two. And yeah, we'll see you next week as well. Thank you for watching.